It's going to be cold this weekend, so enjoy this heat, which is, what is it? It's 16 degrees outside.
Did you see, though, Sunday, the real feel went up?
To
minus 19.
Okay, great. Saturday, yeah. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Thinking about this weather right now. I'm looking at the real feel for tomorrow. Like tomorrow morning, the real feel will be minus 21. So
lovely.
We got that going for us. Paul's on to recap last night's Sabres loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins, 5-2. Paul, our first caller today, said it's over, done with this team. My answer to that was, you're just rusty. You're just rusty. You know, good teams have bad days, and this was maybe the Sabres' worst game in a long time, right? Start to finish. I was listening to the postgame. You were in the locker room asking the players if it just didn't feel sharp for whatever reason. They missed the net a bunch. They fumbled passes. They broke down. It was kind of a stinker, I think. And I can't remember the last one that was a stinker to this degree.
Lindy Ruff said it all. He said, "We picked the wrong time to pitch a dud." And that's exactly what it was. It was bad. The passing was horrendous. Even on the goal by Zucker to open the game, that pass was in his skates. He was able to handle it and get it up to his stick and scored a goal that, the goaltender would have wanted back. But it was just multiple turnovers. They were especially on the wall. They were turning the puck over on the wall. Pittsburgh's second goal came because Thompson tried to rip it up the wall to get it out and turned it over, and it was wound up in the net. And the goofy thing about it, too, is what if I would have told you before the game that Crosby and Malkin were going to combine for 1 point? You'd say,
I would have asked you, what about this Avery Hayes fellow playing his first NHL game?
Yeah. I mean, and Owen will remember Avery Hayes. That was the game. He did the Pittsburgh game with me in the Prospects tournament. Avery Hayes just ripped up the tournament. He was like by far the tournament's leading scorer. I think the year before he might have had a hat trick on Buffalo. And here's a guy who they signed last March as a 23-year-old on an AHL contract. Pittsburgh signed him. And so the 23-year-old gets his first NHL game, and before the first period's over, he's got 2 goals. And the kid who was the 11th overall pick this past year, 19-year-old Ben Kindle, he played in that tournament too. And he has 14 goals now. He scored 2 goals in that game against the Sabres. So, Jacob Bryson had a really rough game. Jacob Bryson's played really well, I think, this year, but he had a rough night. And by the time he blew a tire for the third goal, Lindy Ruff said enough's enough, and that was the end of his night. And he didn't play again. He was on the ice for 2 of the first 3 goals, and Kesselring was on for all 3.
Yeah. Paul, the defense, you could kind of see this coming for them because they play their top 4 a lot, right? Like, are they leaning into their top 4 a little too much? This break comes in a nice time to kind of, give everybody a bit of a break, but
except for Dahlin.
Except for Dahlin, of course, he's going to continue to play. But do you feel like if you're Jarmo Kekalainen, one of the things you're going to hope to do at the deadline, if you can, is to make it so you don't have to play that top 4 so much? Whether that's Connor Timmins coming back, I don't know what his timeline is, but they're top heavy, and their third pair is a problem.
Absolutely, I would be looking for that definitely. Just to add a little depth to the defense. And it matters when Timmins might be back too. It doesn't sound like it'll be right out of the break, but it's starting to get to them, and they do for the most part. All 4 of them tend to play better the more they play, but it's such a condensed schedule. I think part of what we saw last night is a schedule getting to them. Just a lot of games against teams that they don't tend to do well against.
Yeah.
Tampa, Florida, Pittsburgh, in Buffalo. In their last 23 games, Pittsburgh is now 16-4-3 in Buffalo. The Sabres just don't fare well against them for the most part. And so it's and it was another one. And how many times did they shoot wide? Had great opportunities and shot wide of the net. That was something that plagued them a lot in the beginning of the year, and it kind of reared its ugly head in this game. So in addition to the turnovers and the bad passes, they missed the net a lot too, and so the game was kind of there to be in and maybe win if they capitalized. I said to Owen sitting, I said, what did they? I think 5 of their first grade A chances, 5 of their 6 grade A chances to start the game went wide. And I said, imagine if they just hit the net on all of them. I have to believe 1 or 2 of them would have gone in. And he agreed with me. They were just off. The whole thing was just off on them. And yeah, Bryson had a rough night, but he wasn't the only one. There were some other guys out there who had rough nights also.
It's not just too like when everybody's healthy, right, Paul? Like if you got to plan just in case something happens, and they're deep at forward. I don't know if they can sustain when there's 5 forwards injured, but if there's 2 or 3, like they got depth to withstand that. But if something happened to anybody in that top 4, like you don't have a guy right now that you would say, I could just plug him in to play those 20 minutes. I mean, I don't even know who. I guess Kesselring would be the name you'd want to have that be the answer, but he is not playing at a level right now that you would think, he could just jump up and play 21 minutes with Owen Power.
Yeah, Timmins was doing that for a while when they weren't doing real well, and I kept saying he's playing too much. I like Timmins a lot, especially on the penalty kill. He's a shot-blocking machine on the penalty kill. And the penalty kill has kind of gone down the tubes a little bit, too. They were number 1 in the league for a while, and that's plummeted. I haven't looked recently. I think it's around number 9-ish, 7-ish, somewhere in there, that it's gone down to. So, that hasn't gone as well. Now, the power play did score. Thompson's goal is a power play goal. They have scored a power play goal in 6 straight games. And that came to a shock to a lot of the fans who were screaming about the penalty kill and everything, or the power play. It's like, well, that goal means they've scored in 6 straight games on the power play. So as bad as maybe it looked at times, it is coming through a little bit more recently.
They're right in the middle of they rank 16th now on the season, Paul, in power play percentage. And I was surprised when I saw that because it definitely doesn't feel like, power play to power play, they are a team that is coming close. But as you mentioned, they're getting the goals. I mean, there was the one in the second period where have you ever seen one where they got denied at the blue line that many times? I mean, was it like 6 times that they couldn't get into the zone?
Yeah, I have. At the beginning of the year when the power play was down about in 20-some-odd 7th or whatever, yeah, quite a bit. That was their problem, was getting into the zone with it. And something that drives me crazy, and I every now and then they do it and they score. Ostlund I've seen score on it. Tuck I've seen score on it like once. And Owen laughed at me because I was just watching a power play, and they'd get the puck, and I'm going, take it to the net, take it to the net. Other teams give them that play where the guy coming out of the corner can just go straight to the net. They give it to the Sabres because they know most times they won't take it. And Thompson did. He had got the puck. He was in the corner. He brought it right to the net and scored. And Owen started laughing at me because I said, see, I told you. It's there. Anytime they want it, it's there. The other teams don't respect it because the Sabres don't do it that often. And I think it's another option they can make teams worry about if they would do it a little bit more, because it's wide open for anyone on either side, for whoever wants to bring the puck out from the corner right to the net. You're in close, but still you can get some rebounds bouncing around if you don't score. And I think they need to do a little bit more of that, like on the Thompson goal.
If I go back to the blue line for a moment, Paul, Kesselring, he is not playing great, it seems, right now. Do you think, though, it's still, like, would you attribute his season overall and maybe even what he's doing right now still to injury?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's three injuries. He just can't seem to get going. He also is a guy, and I know he's brought this up not as a criticism, because he loves playing in a hockey city. He never has before. Where has he been? Arizona, Utah. This is a hockey town, and he enjoys playing in a hockey town where people are excited and everything. He also has never been criticized before. He played in Arizona and Utah. Who's criticizing him? Nobody's there. As far in Utah, they're there, but Utah showed up for their game in Buffalo with 11 people from Utah's social media and zero media, none. So who on the 11 people from Utah's social media is going to criticize the team when they play poorly? So all of a sudden he winds up in a hockey town with some fans and media who understand hockey and aren't afraid to say this isn't good enough. And all of a sudden he's not used to that. And it's something that I think he has to get used to. I'll guarantee you there's not one person in Utah that's going to tell J.J. Peterka he's not back-checking. I'll guarantee it. So it's just something that he has to get used to. If this is the first time in his career he's ever been criticized by media or fans or anybody else. So it's something new for him, and I don't think he's reacting to it very well right now.
Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline. Sabres to the break. Dahlin and Thompson go off for Team Sweden and Team USA respectively, and the Sabres get their time in. When they come back, Paul, there'll be 5 games before the trade deadline. Jarmo is also going over to Italy, of course, for the Olympics. He'll be part of Team Finland. So
maybe it's a good time for a break. I mean, they've been so good at home, and what are they, 1-2-1 in their last 4 at home?
Yeah.
They've lost 3 out of 4 if you include the overtime. So that hasn't gone real well. So maybe it's time to just just maybe what you guys are talking about. The defenseman. Just get a break. And they need to keep on top of their conditioning and that type of thing. And Lindy Ruff said there's no question in his mind, these guys, with the maturity he's seen from this team, that even if they're on vacation somewhere, there's really no place, unless you're on some safari or something that doesn't have a gym. So if you're on a boat, if you're on a short cruise or something, they have gyms. So, there'll be opportunities for them to work out and keep their conditioning where it needs to be and be ready to practice when they're back for practice on the 18th.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
Take care.
Paul's appearance brought to you by Raylax Honda. Raylax, we got this. He'll have coverage of the Olympics at our website, WGR550.com. Opening ceremonies today from 2 to 5, opening ceremonies of the Olympics